I want to ask you about what it's like to maintain that during the pandemic. For a lot of players worldwide, especially in the full member world, they were protected if they were on central contracts. They were still looked after, they were still getting paid. You're not on a central contract. You turn that down from USA Cricket. We'll get to that a bit later. But because of that, in some way, you're, like you said, you're full time earning based on your own performances in T20 franchise cricket. That's your bread and butter. Pandemic comes along. You don't have a 12-month contract in T20 cricket. It's league to league, bouncing around from CPL or PSL or Bangladesh Premier League, or whatever, IPL. So when the pandemic started, and obviously it's not inside outside of cricket, a lot of people's lives, a lot of people's jobs were affected economically and health wise in all sorts of ways. Has impacted people. But one of the things that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit in terms of the cricket ecosystem, if you're on the T20 cricket carousel, and this is how you were earning it, and all these T20 leagues are getting canceled or postponed, you have no way to earn. So when the pandemic was first unfolding, all cricket was being postponed, but in particular, the T20 franchise leagues were being put off, canceled, postponed. You're seeing this as a T20 cricketer, and this is your way of earning. What was going through your mind as this was happening?
It was tough. I had some saving to buy a house, but because of the pandemic, everything was shut down, and I had no other option. I had no contract, so I had to spend all that I had in my savings to get through that time. And luckily, I had some money saved from the previous leagues. I didn't spend it all. I'm happy because usually I spend my money. My dad always, gives me that I spend my money, and yeah, luckily I had something to survive on. And so I live with my family, and I try to be the only provider for my family, and I don't try to put burden on my dad because I try to take care of my family, my mom, my sisters. So yeah, I mean, it was really tough, but one thing I didn't do is that I didn't stop working. I didn't stop working out, even if it's at home or in the. I mean, I couldn't even go to the park back in the day because we didn't know what it was. So I still kept working hard, still eating good. Even if I was home, I knew that if something comes up, I should be ready for it. I shouldn't just sit at home and just be lazy. I still in terms of my cricketing skill, yeah, I couldn't do much because there was nothing going on. But in terms of my physical fitness, I kept going. I didn't give up on that. But it was really tough, especially mentally. It was really tough because it was coming to my mind like, what am I going to do if I run out of this money? Like, there's no backup option here because I'm not contracted. I don't have a job. All I'm doing is playing these leagues, and if the league is happening, I'll earn something. But if there's nothing happening for a unforeseen future, what am I going to do? So it has affected me mentally in that time period. But luckily that the league starting to happen later on the year. And CPL was the first league that happened after the pandemic. And thanks to TKR for always taking care of me. And it's just like a family. So I love playing for them, and I think they've changed my life. So when CPL happened, I was really satisfied mentally that okay, there's something good. And then we ended up winning. That helped us extra financially as well. So I covered up what I lost during the pandemic. But again, it's not always just about the money. It's also about how you have to grow as a cricketer, and how you have to survive through these tough times. It can happen again. And what happens if you don't get picked again? So you have to think of all these things. And in terms of not being on a contract, yeah, it's something that does come to my mind a lot. But again, when I was about to give up on cricket, I never gave up. I gave it one shot and it got me here. And I always think back on that I never gave up then, so I shouldn't give up now either. So yeah, just keep working hard. As I said, I will do my part, and rest is up to the God. If it's there for me, it's there for me.